guys, welcome back to my channel. We have a guest star in today's video. This is baby Landon. He's eating a bottle right now. Welcome to another Mommy Monday video. If you're new here, my name is Melissa. I have a 1-month-old right here, Landon, and I also have a 2-year-old. His name is Lincoln. To be honest, I'm not sure how well this is gonna work, you know, feeding baby while filming a video. I did it a couple times with Lincoln when he was about this age, but it's kind of a struggle here. Okay, so today we're going to talk about month 9 of my pregnancy. So I have all my notes here on my phone. I filmed my last update at 36 weeks pregnant. So if you want to see my whole pregnancy journey the second time around from start to finish, I will link every single one of my update videos down below for you. But month 9 was the most, I don't want to say eventful, but the grand finale, right? So it's the month that we were all waiting for, that I was waiting for and counting down to. And inevitably, a lot kind of happens that 9th month because that's the month that you have a baby. So we're going to talk about my symptoms, what happened, all that good stuff. So to give you guys a little bit of background on why month 9 was so scary, anticipatory for me, I actually developed preeclampsia, or almost preeclampsia, with my first at 37 weeks. So I was almost induced at 37 weeks. I was sent to triage, I was monitored, and yeah, I was basically put on preeclampsia watch. It ended up never turning into full-blown preeclampsia, but I did end up getting induced at 39 weeks, 4 days with my first because of the whole high blood pressure, protein in my urine, yada, yada, yada. So with this baby, I was concerned that it might happen again, basically. So at 36 weeks, that's when you start seeing your doctor weekly, or at least that's when I started seeing my doctor weekly. So I had a doctor's appointment every single week. So at 36 weeks, I actually didn't gain very much weight at all this entire pregnancy. 36 weeks was, I had gained 3 pounds more than I did the appointment prior. So that put me at 24 pounds that I gained, right? Is that right? 24 pounds that I gained total my entire pregnancy, which isn't bad at all. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. And I didn't gain any weight after that. So that's one of the signs that labor could be near, is when you stop gaining weight. So I had gained 24 pounds at that point, 3 pounds more than I did my appointment prior. My blood pressure was great. Baby's heart rate was great. It was at 138. We did do my GBS swab and test that appointment, and we also did my first cervix check that appointment. I remember being really anxious for the cervix check. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you probably recall me talking about this over on Instagram. I was worried because with my first, my cervix checks were very painful, so I was just anticipating that they were going to be painful this time around. They weren't pleasant, but they weren't painful. They were bearable. So at 36 weeks, I was 1 centimeter dilated. I actually did test positive for GBS this time around. I was also positive my first pregnancy, so that wasn't a shock to me at all. I was kind of anticipating that I would be positive. Okay, at 37 weeks, I went back for another appointment. Whoa! Good burp, Landon. Okay, so at 37 weeks, I was 2 centimeters dilated. So she checked me weekly per my request. I had to ask for it. I remember her saying, my doctor saying, like, do you want your cervix to be cervix checked? And I was like, yeah. She was like, I don't blame you. I'm super nosy too. I always want to know. So we did check weekly. So I was 2 centimeters dilated at 37 weeks. And she also commented that baby was really low. She was like, baby's really low. I can feel his head, which was like, whoa. And I could tell at that point, I felt like I had dropped. My belly was just sitting lower. I was waddling a lot when I walked. I couldn't cross my legs. You know, that kind of stuff. I was peeing every 3 seconds because he was squishing my bladder. At that appointment, she told me I was GBS positive. Baby's heart rate was 141 and my weight was consistent. At 38 weeks is when things really picked up for me. So 38-week doctor's appointment, I was 4.5 centimeters dilated, so I doubled in a week. Again, she commented baby's really low. She's like, I could feel his head. My weight, again, was the same. I made a comment in that appointment that I hadn't really felt Landon move very much in the past couple of days. I had this problem starting at around 9 months where, and I think this is pretty common, he was just so big that he was squished. He didn't have room. I mean, they run out of room eventually in your uterus. And I had an anterior placenta, so it was harder for me to feel him moving. And I couldn't tell the difference. I had this problem where I couldn't tell the difference between movement and contractions, or Braxton and Hicks. And I told her, I was like, I'm not really worried, but I'm just not feeling him move as much, and his movements aren't as like noticeable or intense as they were before. So she was like, you know what, let's get you hooked up to a non-stress test. The room is empty. It takes 15 or 20 minutes. It's not a big deal. Let's just do it. It'll give you peace of mind to make sure baby's okay. So I went to a separate room after my cervix check, and we hooked me up to a non-stress test. I had a couple of these done with my first because of the high blood pressure situation. Now again, I didn't have blood pressure issues with this pregnancy. So for a different reason, you know, baby not moving, we hooked me up and monitored me and baby for about 15 or 20 minutes. And during that non-stress test, he moved fine. The monitor showed that he was moving fine. His heart rate was fine. He had great trends. You know, she explained a whole bunch of stuff to me. She was like, this is great. There was a couple of accelerations, which is what they love to see, and his heart rate. And so everything was fine. And we also monitored my contractions during that non-stress test. And I was indeed having contractions at 38 weeks every 4 minutes. And I remember telling her, like, isn't this when I should go to the hospital? Like every 4 minutes, isn't that when you're supposed to go? She was like, well, these are practice contractions. These aren't real contractions, but labor is going to be really, really soon, is what she said. And I think this was a Thursday, a Wednesday or a Thursday. And so, you know, I left that appointment feeling like, okay, baby's coming really soon. He's doing great. I was a lot more at ease after the non-stress test. He's doing great. I'm having contractions. He's sitting really low. I'm 4.5 centimeters dilated. It's coming soon, right? So I got excited, but I also tried not to get too excited because with my first, I was dilated to 4 centimeters for 3 weeks. So I was like, well, you know, it could mean something, but it doesn't necessarily mean something. But I was kind of going off of the doctor's instincts of her saying like, it's coming, he's coming really soon, you know? So I went home and everything was hunky-dory for, you know, a couple of days. Everything was business as usual. I know my whole family was like, how are you feeling every day? How are you feeling? How are you feeling? Are you in labor? My dad's birthday was like the next day or so. He's like, is baby gonna be born on my birthday? And I was like, I don't think so, Dad. And then 38 weeks and 6 days rolled around, and that is when labor started. So if you want to know all about my labor story, which is still technically part of my 9 months of pregnancy, I will link that video down below for you guys, cliffhanger. But that's kind of where my symptoms stopped, or I guess changed into labor instead of pregnancy. But your ninth month of pregnancy, 9th, 10th month is really uncomfortable, you guys. I know I had such a hard time sleeping. Like I said before, I was peeing every 3 seconds because he was so low. He was squishing my bladder. I had a horrible time sleeping. I woke up like every hour, half hour to pee or to reposition myself or something like that. And I almost feel like that's nature's way of preparing you for having a newborn and forcing you to wake up, you know, every so often at nighttime. Because yeah, I was up a ton. I was super uncomfortable. I couldn't get up well. I couldn't sit down well. It was hard for me to get on the floor to play with my toddler. Like, you just feel so large and so uncomfortable and so big and so slow. You're tired all the time, but you can't sleep. Aw, hi cutie. You're making the cutest little noises. I was definitely just over it at that point, you know, but I also tried to remind myself to like embrace it. I don't know if that or this is going to be my last pregnancy, last baby, but I feel like that's a really difficult question to ask people who are in the thick of postpartum, you know what I mean? But anyways, I wanted to really just embrace being pregnant, embrace the last, you know, couple of weeks that I had with just my son, you know, just my toddler, my one kid, my only child. And I tried to just remind myself to soak in those moments and not rush it, even though I was totally over it and didn't want to be pregnant anymore. I just tried to soak it all in, you know what I mean? My entire 9 months of pregnancy was very uneventful. It was very normal, very textbook, very calm, very positive. I'm so grateful for that. I didn't have any complications whatsoever. I'm very grateful for that because this was pregnancy after loss. I did have a miscarriage right before I got pregnant with Landon. And so my mental health suffered quite a bit, especially towards the beginning. And so I think, you know, I'm grateful for God blessing me with a very positive, very easy pregnancy. I feel like my body just knew what to do. It did its thing, and it was good. It was uneventful. I talked about this a lot in other pregnancy videos, but I did a lot of prepping and preparing, so that way the 9th month of pregnancy I could just chill and not do a dang thing. And I did do some nesting. I would say the day I went into labor, or the day I went to the hospital, I had this urge to rearrange our entire bedroom I'm sitting in right now. We like moved things around. I moved the bassinet into the corner. I made my husband move the dresser over here, and I had this weird nesting urge. And I kind of told myself like, oh, this is nesting, like I'm gonna go into labor, but I didn't actually think it was gonna happen, and it did happen. So, you know, who knows? But aside from that last day of like frantically moving our bedroom furniture around, I just tried to relax. That 9th month, my mother-in-law came into town around 37 weeks, I think she arrived. And that was nice because she was able to help with my toddler, help with Lincoln. Like I said, you get really slow and really tired that last month of pregnancy. So she was able to watch him. I also did some colostrum harvesting that month. I talked a little bit about this in my breastfeeding video, but I harvested colostrum that last month of pregnancy. So I used a manual hand pump and I pumped out colostrum and I saved it for Landon into little 1mm syringes. And that was great. I brought all of that colostrum with me to the hospital and he ate that, you know, postpartum, so we didn't have to supplement with formula or anything like that while I was waiting for my milk to come in. And it's a very time-consuming thing to do. It's a labor of love. So it was nice to have my mother-in-law here to watch my toddler while I, you know, did the pumping and collecting of the colostrum. But other than that, that's really all that happened my 9th month of pregnancy. Again, I'm very grateful for it being so uneventful, and that's really it. So I hope that you guys enjoyed watching my pregnancy journey this time around, and here's the end result in my arms, and I'm so happy. I'm so grateful. This postpartum period, I'm feeling wonderful, and you know, that's a topic for another video, but I just wanted to update you guys on how I was doing and how the 9th month went. And yeah, yay, it's over. Alright guys, I will talk to you next time. Bye.